I wonder if they'll still be charging £94 a ticket in the South Stand in the Championship next year. We are in serious, serious trouble. Thank God for Benjamin Sesko, but West Ham, at the end of the day, have still closed the gap tonight, and Tottenham have only got themselves to blame. This club, and the negligence that they showed in the January transfer window to only bring in one senior player in the middle of an awful, awful injury crisis, which has been added to tonight. Of course it was. We can never get one player back without losing another player. Spence comes back. Odebear looks like he's seriously done his knee. Brilliant. Good job we signed a winger in the January transfer window then, wasn't it? Good. That was never going to come back to bite us. That was never going to come back to bite us, the club putting it out there, briefing it to the media that was our number one priority position to sort out in January. They lost Kudus on the 2nd of Jan. They sold Brennan Johnson on the 1st of Jan. And now they're going to lose Wilson Odebear for probably a month, 2 months. It's an absolute disgrace what is going on at this football club right now. And tonight was just the latest episode in what is just a never-ending nightmare at the moment. Newcastle, dreadful away from home. Spurs, equally as dreadful at home. But honestly, I'm not even sure I have the energy to be angry. Like, you guys will know that I'm not that kind of person anyway. But I hate to admit this, but when that Jacob Ramsey goal went in, I felt like nothing. I felt genuinely nothing. And you had people kind of in and around me with certain moments in the game almost just laughing at the situation. And that is the thing. When you reach apathy, that is the most dangerous emotion I think you can have as a football fan. I'm not blaming anyone for having that emotion, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I care about this football club nearly more than anything else in my life, right? But nothing's surprising. It's not a surprise what happened tonight. It's not a surprise that Jacob Ramsey went and scored that goal straight after we got back in the game. We just sit back, invite pressure once again. We can never, once we get a bit of momentum in a game and score, we can never just go, right, let's go again. Let's go and get the lead here. We sit back, we make mistakes. I've never seen a team like Tottenham Hotspur give as many free kicks away because we cannot keep the ball, because of our poor passing. Conor Gallagher, Javi Simmons dive into then allow Newcastle to put the pressure back on us. And then when we do clear that free kick, Conor Gallagher drives forward with the ball, and he had some of the worst 5 minutes I think I've ever seen from a Spurs player there. Then obviously comes off when Spurs make the changes. But it's just, we are, if, I've not even spoken about Thomas Frank yet. If we keep Thomas Frank, we're going down. And I said this weeks ago. And nothing's improved. It is an absolute disgrace that the club thought it was right to keep him after the West Ham game. They quite frankly bottled it. And even if they thought they were going to sack him still after the Dortmund game, before they were going to give him the Dortmund game, how on earth can you judge Tottenham and Thomas Frank's performances you can't judge the level of job that he is doing by some decent performances in the Champions League, where the level of quality is just not there in the Premier League, it's comparatively to the Premier League. And that is what they did. They look at everything kind of on face value. It's the same way they'll probably be letting Thomas Frank off the hook because of the injuries that we've got at the moment. Just like the media, who are giving him the biggest free pass I've ever seen. It's a disgrace. He's the worst manager in Big Six history. And I've said over the last few weeks that I've kind of checked out of the Frank in, Frank out discourse because it doesn't feel like he's going anywhere. But tonight, that simply cannot go unpunished. That performance. It was just 11 white and blue, or 10 white and blue cones, basically, set up there by the manager to just make it so easy for Newcastle to play through, and then a purple one in goal that cannot catch a fucking cold. I felt for Vicario with the goal, right? And I've not seen it back, to be fair, so please feel free to shoot me down in the comments if I'm wrong. I wanted to just jump on here and chat as soon as I got home from the game, and I haven't even had the chance to watch the highlights back. I couldn't stomach watching it on the train. I was just praying to myself that Man United scored, and they did. Thought I'd just listen to a podcast, actually make myself feel better about my life, because this is just an absolute shambles, right? But from the way I saw it, and I'm at the other end of the ground, Vicario actually makes a decent save. And you've got 3 or 4 Spurs players around there, almost too scared to clear it. Just as they kind of were with everything. I've never seen a Spurs team look so scared as they are right now. I've never seen a Spurs team look so disengaged with the manager than they are right now. And whatever you think about the fact that the players have got a hand in this as well, because they absolutely have. I'm not just blaming everything on Thomas Frank. But our anger towards Thomas Frank, I think, is even more fueled by the fact that he seems to be or everyone else seems to be getting the blame, or bar him, which is absolutely unacceptable, because it's been like this for months. for months. And all it's taken is West Ham to put a decent run of results together. Look at the confidence that they're playing with at the moment, West Ham. Look at the shot in the arm that we gave them. Look at how much they want to get themselves out of this situation. Do Tottenham have to get in the relegation zone to look like they want to start actually winning football matches? Because those players at the moment as well, some of their body language is absolutely horrendous. But then again, I think a lot of them are just checked out on the manager. And whether that's right or wrong for the players to behave in that way is obviously fundamentally wrong. Spurs need to make a change. Otherwise, we are going down. We are going down. I genuinely believe that. And I've been saying that for weeks. And it's not been about being hyperbolic. It's not been trying to fearmonger. It's not been trying to clickbait for views or anything like that. I've said this for at least a month now, that Spurs will 100% get dragged into this. 100%. Look at the fight that Leeds played with to come from 2-0 down away from home at Chelsea. From what I saw, it was a bit of a weird game with a weird goal that they scored. But look at the togetherness and the collectiveness that is there. And look at the same with West Ham as well. West Ham were dead and buried. If Spurs had beaten West Ham a few weeks ago, we would have gone 12 points above them. And now, if they'd have held on tonight against Man United, there was a chance that they'd be going into the North London derby level on points with us. And they thought they shouldn't have sacked him. The performances are absolutely diabolical. We don't look like scoring unless it's maybe from a set-piece situation as we did tonight. And fair play to Archie Gray, because I thought this kid has got bollocks. This kid's got a bit of like bottle and a bit of gut, you know, like and playing out of position. I thought he did well, and he deserved that goal actually, because he had a really good start to the second half. Winning tackles, driving forward the ball, trying to look like he makes something happen. Unlike some of the other players on that pitch, I thought Papsar had a decent game, to be fair. And I think he would just look like a bit of a better team with him in it. I'm not saying that was necessarily reflected tonight. Javi, I think, was a bit isolated in that first half, needed to do more in the second. Tell was seeing a lot of the ball, trying to get shots up, trying to make things happen. Conor Gallagher was diabolical. Like, he was really poor. But at least you know what you're going to get from him in terms of the effort. I thought Basuma was a disgrace in that first half. Like, it wasn't just about him as to why we were so easy to kind of play through, because the setup allows that to kind of happen. We don't engage. The press is so disjointed. All it takes is a bit of quality on the ball from the other team and they can play. Every time Newcastle were able to isolate our fullback 1v1, Harvey Barnes kind of trying to cut inside, get a shot off. I mean, the amount of corners that Newcastle had in that game, I think there were one trying to set a record. Look how many they had in the first half alone. Where was it? First half. 9 corners in the first half. I'm pretty sure most of them came within the first half an hour, other than the one that Malik Chow scored from, or was it a free kick that Chow scored from? I think it was a free kick, wasn't it? Maybe. I can't even remember. 9 corners. If Arsenal get 9 corners against us in the first half, we'll be 5-0 down. We will be 5-0 down. They've got 12 days. 1 for every corner Arsenal probably have in that first half against us. They've got 12 days to make a choice that could define Tottenham's season. They cannot keep him. They cannot keep Thomas Frank. They cannot do it. Forget sleepwalking into relegation. We're nosediving into relegation. I said we're sleepwalking into relegation a few weeks ago when this club showed so much negligence not to try and improve the squad in this January transfer window. They make all the excuses under the sun as to why they didn't do that. Just like the media make all the excuses under the sun for Thomas Frank. And I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. What message needs to be sent to this ball? The message of you getting sacked in the morning being sung by basically the entire ground. That was being sung against West Ham. That was 4 games ago, wasn't it? 4 games ago. His magic, Mauricio Pochettino belted out in that second half by the South Stand and most of the ground as well. What message needs to register in these people's heads that are running this football club that this needs to change and this isn't acceptable? I think Vinay is still deluded enough to believe that Frank is our Arteta. Arsenal were never this bad at this stage of the season. Never, ever, ever. Yes, they might have flirted with the relegation zone in maybe like November, December when the league hadn't really kind of formulated yet and they were really poor. But they were never, ever, ever this bad. Never this bad. We weren't this bad under Ange. No way. And I said this in a video yesterday about the hypocrisy and the standards in the media when it comes to analysing Thomas Frank's situation at the football club. But he's had injuries. But they will pull Ange from pillar to post about absolutely everything else and blame it all on him. The way that Frank is getting away with it is absolutely fucking scandalous. It is scandalous. And the club, almost like using that as a bit of a free... Well, they think he's doing... Look, these are professional footballers that have played for... these big clubs that are defending him, saying I feel sorry for him every single minute. What about listening to the fan base that you're ripping off with your season ticket prices and everything else, serving up that crap week in, week out? Ryan Mason cannot be worse than this to get us through to the summer. Ryan Mason cannot be worse than this. If we've got to win 3 games or so to stay up, Ryan Mason cannot do a worse job than this. And I know he did poorly at West Brom, but he cannot be worse than this. I honestly don't know what to say anymore. That is one of the most pathetic performances. Newcastle popped us off the park in that first half. We're so pathetic that we just sit on the edge of our own box and just let them do it. At home. We are playing at home. We never play like it. We are incapable of being the aggressor. And again, if the game plan was to go long to Solanke, like I spoke about in the preview for the game yesterday, get men close to him. Nobody was close to him at all. Gallagher saw absolutely miles away when we went direct into Solanke. And then we're trying to play it out from the back. When you're going to lose the ball every single time, Newcastle playing that kind of high press, we haven't got the players to do that right now. We haven't got it. The fans are getting on your back. Go long. Try and win. Back to the basics of football, right? I want to see Spurs play free-flowing attacking football. That is what Tottenham Hotspur are supposed to be. But the reality of Tottenham Hotspur, in terms of the situation that we're in right now, is so far away from that. Do the basics properly. Do the basics properly. Go long, get yourselves up the pitch, try and win a few free kicks, gain a bit of territory, reset, and get further up the pitch and see if you can hurt them that way. Get men into and around the striker, winning the second balls. Solanke was so isolated during basically the majority of that game. It was absolutely ridiculous. He's doing one-man donkey work up there for absolutely no reward whatsoever. Javi Simmons is so isolated as well. He's asking for the ball at certain points. No player is good enough really to give it to him. Or confident enough to give it to him. Jed Spence playing at left back, obviously out of position, and Frank he's got issues. He's got problems. But his job is to solve problems. There is nothing to get behind. In a relegation battle that we're in right now, and look, I've not experienced one of them in my lifetime as a Spurs fan, but it doesn't take a fucking genius to work out that you need togetherness, you need collectedness, you need camaraderie within a group. The fans aren't having the manager. The players clearly aren't having the manager. The fans aren't having the board either. And neither is your club captain. So what sense of collectiveness is there? What hope does that give you that Spurs are actually going to win any more games this season? Yeah, Man United might have done us a favour by only keeping that gap at 5. But West Ham will pick themselves up on the floor after that. They 100% will. Look, yes, it's tough to concede a goal in the last minute of the game as we did. It's a massive gut punch. It's a sucker punch. I saw the replay of the Sesko goal, which is an amazing finish. But the West Ham players walk in deflated back to the halfway line. But Nuno will get them in that dressing room and will get them firing again. They will come out. Who they got next week, West Ham? I know they've got Liverpool coming up, but who's their next game, right? You will see a response from them. Well, they've got Burton Albion in the FA Cup. Bournemouth at home in the Premier League, then they go away to Liverpool. You will see a response from them, 100%. These guys will pick themselves up off the floor. I don't think Tottenham are capable of doing that. I don't think Frank is a manager, Freudian slip there. I don't think Frank is a manager that's capable of doing that, inspiring anything in the group. Yeah, lads, let's go out and win your duels and your second balls. That is a blanket shit statement to kind of hide behind, right? Because if that doesn't happen and you don't do that, you can always say, well, the players didn't do their job. You know, we didn't win our duels all over the pitch, that's why we lost the game. How about trying to set us up with a game plan to actually hurt teams, build a possession-based game at the start of the season, which you were supposed to do as a manager of a big club? It's absolutely scandalous, and we've been getting worse and worse and worse every single game, every single month. Yes, there's been some brighter green shoots recently, but it's still nowhere near good enough to make you think that this guy is going to have anything in him to help us turn this around. And if the board keep him tomorrow, it shows you how little they actually care about this football club and the fans. They do not have the fans' best interests at heart. Look at the stadium tonight, pretty much half empty because of the absolute rip-off that we're getting charged. Season after season, certain teams sneaking into Category A games that shouldn't be there. 94 quid for a ticket in parts of the South Stand tonight. 64 quid or 61 quid pretty much everywhere else, right? That is an absolute disgrace to watch 15th against 12th in the Premier League. And it won't be 15th tomorrow because I think Forest will beat Wolves. Shock. I mean, at this point, I don't even know if they're above us already. I'm just looking down at West Ham, to be honest. It makes me absolutely sick to see what is going on right now. The whole thing needs a reset in the summer with them all going. But Frank has got to go now. He has absolutely got to go now. You need a new manager to give this team a bit of a shot in the arm. It might not keep us up, but I'd rather roll the dice. We've got to roll the dice. It cannot be any worse than it is right now. It cannot be. We are Pound for pound, the worst team in the league. Pound for pound. The worst team in the league. And Frank has done this off the back of a transfer window that other Spurs managers would have dreamed for in the summer. It's simply not good enough. And we are in huge trouble. Huge, huge trouble. This is a living nightmare that we're going through right now. We've got the Gooners next, right? You've got 12 days before that. And if they don't decide to make a change, honestly, I don't think I'm going to go. We were talking about this at the game tonight. None of us want to go to that North London derby. And that is not about us not wanting to support the team, because we are behind this team. And I probably will still end up going, obviously. I'm a season ticket holder, right? I'll go. But I can't sit there and be embarrassed by Arsenal. I cannot believe what I'm watching. I cannot believe what I'm watching at the moment. I really cannot believe it. It's the most disjointed, dysfunctional, ragbag of a Tottenham team I've ever seen in my life. With some players that aren't up to it, but a manager that certainly isn't. The job's way too big for him. He's sinking. He's not swimming. He's sinking and he's drowning. And so are we, if we keep him. Disgrace. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's going to be a long, old rest of the season. We are in big, big trouble, so buckle up.